My name is Amira Babel. I'm a part-time musician and part-time engineering student, and I just wrote the last exam of the semester, so I want to celebrate that with going on a little hike to the most beautiful cemetery in Berlin. So, yeah, I would like you to join me if you want. I will be taking The Darkened Room, a book by Alex Owen on spiritualism in late Victorian England. I want to write some songs about spiritualism during that time, but more on that later. I will, of course, be taking a notebook and also my analog camera, because I am convinced that ghosts cannot be caught by digital cameras. Even though I'm not quite sure if the camera still works, because it has been a while since I used it. I will also be taking a field recorder in case the ghosts have something to say. A few plastic bags if I find some cool trinkets, I guess. Apart from that, I already made some tea, so I am ready to go. I've always had a difficult relationship with death. I am very conscious of my own mortality at all times. I am terrified by the idea of not existing anymore and often find myself wishing to control death somehow, to become an immortal being that decides when and if they want to die. At the same time, I am drawn to the aesthetic, the beauty of death, and autumn, the season when everything dies, is my favorite time of the year. As soon as the first leaf turns yellow, I start packing away my flowery fairy dresses and take out my vampire gowns. Black will dominate my closet until spring. Do I humanize death so that I am able to have a conversation with my fear? Do I keep death close so I can understand it or maybe even befriend it? Or am I trying to become death? Become the thing I fear so I can control it? Am I actually just like Batman? Yes, that's probably it. I'm Batman. So I am on my way. I have already collected my fair share of chestnuts, and also I took some pictures with my camera, but I am kind of pessimistic because they have like this little wheel on top that's supposed to be spinning every time you like reload the camera. Reload? I don't know if that's the right word. Analog photography experts tell me what you call that. But you kind of reload before every picture, and there's like a little wheel that's supposed to spin, and it only spins sometimes. So I'm not quite sure what that means yet. There is nobody here because I came here so early and during the week, and that's perfect. It's just what I wanted. Total peace and quiet. Except, I don't know if you can still hear it in the background, but I'm afraid that there's like no place in Berlin where you can't hear the highway, which I think is very sad, because I try to do some field recordings because you can still hear a lot of birds. Not right now, but you can hear a lot of birds because it's still like early autumn. But they were all ruined by this deep rumbling sound. So Berlin, fix that. It took me 2 hours because I kept getting distracted, and also it has started to rain, but I am finally here. The cemetery is also called the cemetery because in the 1900s churches still often refused to bury people who ended their own life. This cemetery was built so families could still bury their loved ones no matter how they died. yeah, let's go in. I just left the cemetery, and I did promise to tell you a little bit more about this book. However, it felt very weird to do that in the cemetery. You know, to just like sit down and film yourself talking in a cemetery. It kind of felt weird to film there at all, but I should have thought about that before having this video idea, I guess. So yeah, I just decided to tell you a little bit about this book while I am walking back. Yeah, so it is a book on spiritualism in late Victorian England, and it focuses on the role of women and how spiritualism was like a tool of empowerment for them, because women were seen as like better mediums because they were more passive. So for a lot of women, the only way for them to publish their philosophic or religious writings was if they pretended that it was actually a man speaking through them. There were actually many cases of women who claimed that certain saints talked through them and gave them some insight about Christianity, for example. Yeah, and there's of course also the aspect of women being deemed insane for practicing spirituality, and yeah, that whole craze. So yeah, it's a brilliant book, and basically what I wanted to do, I wanted to write a song specifically about spirit rapping, which is a technique where you basically communicate with a ghost through different noises in your house. So basically you ask a question, and if you hear 2 knocks somewhere in your house, it means yes, and not 1 knock means no. That would be an example. And if you work with the spirit for a longer time, you can kind of build up a Morse code like alphabet with them. Yeah, and I always thought this was like a very interesting topic to put into a song. I'm not quite sure if I believe in the communication with ghosts, just because I am a skeptic, always. I'm a skeptic when it comes to religion, but I'm also a skeptic when it comes to atheism. And I don't really think religion is like, or like belief is something that should be constant. It is something that should be questioned. However, no matter, I should look where I'm going. However, it does not really matter whether the ghosts that these women were talking to were real. What matters is what they wrote down, and that it was a source of inspiration for them. Whether you say, okay, they actually did receive messages from ghosts, or whether you say, okay, no, they used these archetypes as inspiration for their work, I don't think it matters that much, actually. My idea was basically to use the same approach as these women. So I sat down on a bench and invited inspiration to come to me in whatever form, whether it may be ghosts or my own creativity or whatever. And I think it worked. I almost finished an entire song, and I wrote a few poems. The poems I think I will keep to myself, but the song I am planning on releasing. So yeah, when I release a song that is about spirit rapping and about ghosts, you will know where I wrote it. I consider myself a rather melancholic person. I have an immense love for life. I love my friends, my family, my boyfriend deeply. I have a weakness for beautiful things, and I always want to do and experience everything. I am a professional yearner, and the fear of losing the things I love or never obtaining the things I yearn for rips my heart apart sometimes. Being melancholic during summer sucks, because you are supposed to be celebrating the sun and the gifts it brings us. You're supposed to grow and shine and dance, and I love growing and shining and dancing, but the melancholy is always there, just in the corner of my eye. And it makes me angry sometimes, because I don't want to waste my summer hiding and writing pseudo-poetic garbage in my diary. Autumn is different. I can find power in my darkness. I can harness my melancholy and turn it into art. I can open my diary and face my shadow. Is that a bit edgy? Sure. But that's the fun thing about it. You can't judge me. It's autumn. It's my season. You're at my Halloween party and you are dressed as a clown, just like the rest of us. Do you feel melancholic in autumn? We live in a world where we are expected to be productive the whole year around. However, this just goes against our nature. In autumn, we should sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of our labor. We should celebrate our accomplishments and sit around the fire with family and friends and reflect on everything that we achieved this year, on our friendship, on our love. In our modern world, there is not really time for that, so we have to make time somehow. I do my best to practice gratitude during autumn. The easiest way to do so is, of course, journaling. I try to take 5 minutes out of my day during fall to just write down what I am grateful for, because I do tend to forget the many beautiful things that happened to me throughout the year. And I also tend to forget the many things that I did during the year, so I end up thinking that I did not achieve anything or accomplish anything, which is simply not true. So yeah, journaling is a very easy way to do it. Another way that we can practice gratitude is, of course, through rituals. And while I really enjoy doing rituals for the earth, for the autumn season itself, it is also important to just do things that honor yourself, your family, your friends, and all of the hard work that you did throughout the year. For example, I love to bake during fall, and then to kind of present the cake or the baked goods as an offering to myself and my friends and my family, because we deserve it. Another way is to light a candle, not only for autumn, but in honor of yourself and everything you've been through throughout the year. And then just, meditate on everything that you are grateful for, on everyone that you're grateful for, on everything that you finished this year or started this year. You did well. It doesn't matter what you were not able to achieve this year or this summer. You did enough. And even though times are maybe not easy right now, they never are, there is still a lot to be grateful for. So we should be brave enough to be grateful for everything that was given to us and everything that we did for ourselves and for others. I am now back home and am currently warming myself up. If you want to know how the pictures that I took turned out, or how the song that I wrote turned out, check out the link in the description. There you will find my social media, my music, and everything else. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment. And if you would like to see or hear more of me in the future, consider following me. Yeah, I think that's it. Happy Halloween and have a wonderful autumn. Goodbye.